The Joker is probably Batman's most popular villain, but the Joker had an equally popular sidekick, Harley Quinn. And since her introduction, she has transcended her relationship with Joker to become a popular and complex character on her own. She's been gone from villain to anti-hero. But somehow, as her character became more popular, she became sexualized, which to me was not only unfair, but uncalled for. And it speaks to a deeper issue, not just with comic book characters, but with how women are portrayed, period. Harley Quinn started off as Dr. Harleen Frances Quinzel, PhD, a psychologist at Gotham City's Arkham Asylum. The Joker was her patient, and he manipulated her into falling in love with him and becoming his accomplice and lover. The character was created for Batman the Animated Series by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. Her first appearance was in Joker's favor as a henchwoman for the Joker. She was only supposed to appear in one episode, but she gained popularity with the fans and was brought back for multiple episodes, eventually starting in her own episodes. Later, she was adapted into DC's comic books in 1993 and officially added to the DC Comics canon 7 years later. Harley Quinn had expert gymnastic skills, proficiency in weapons and fighting, immunity to toxins, enhanced strength, agility, and durability. She was completely unpredictable and often wielded clown-themed gag weapons, her signature weapon being an oversized mallet. She had two pet hyenas, Bud and Lou, that she used as attack dogs. Her abilities were gained from a formula created by Poison Ivy in Batman the Animated Series, and were carried over with her when she was adapted into the mainstream DC universe in 1999. Since then, she has made many appearances with and without the Joker, including the TV show Birds of Prey, portrayed by Mia Sara, the DC Extended Universe portrayed by Margot Robbie, Joker Folie à Deux portrayed by Lady Gaga, and a self-titled animated series voiced by Kaylee Cuoco. When Harley Quinn was first created, her appearance was based off the fact that her name was a play on a stock character named Harlequin from a 16th century Italian theater, Commedia dell'arte. Then came the New 52. The New 52 was the 2011 revamp and relaunch of DC Comics' entire comic book line. It was called the New 52 because that was the number of monthly ongoing series. They also changed the continuity and backstory of all the characters, aiming to be more modern and accessible to reach new readers. But I guess DC interpreted modern and accessible as more male-centered because the number of female creators dropped from 12% to 1% in the company. So it wasn't a surprise when the female characters all of a sudden became more sexualized, with some character status being reduced from star of their own series to just another superhero's girlfriend. Harley Quinn would sadly fall victim to this with the first issue of the New 52 Suicide Squad. Her sexualized depiction on the cover drew controversy and even death threats to the creators from those fans they were trying so hard to reach. In 2016, Suicide Squad got its own movie. And wouldn't you know it, Harley Quinn's intro to the silver screen was accompanied by some booty shorts. And frankly, they were not needed. Margot Robbie did not need a crop top and some booty shorts to shine as Harley Quinn.
Hey guys. Come on, let's go.
Her character was the best thing about that movie, which is why she got her own movie, Birds of Prey.
Where can I find Cassandra Cain?
And Birds of Prey was written by a woman, directed by a woman, and Margot Robbie was credited as one of the many producers. The writer was as well. And guess what? When women were in charge of the story, Harley was more appropriately dressed. Not being prudish or anything, but I would say it was easier for Harley to fight in the clothes that she was wearing in Birds of Prey as opposed to what she was wearing in Suicide Squad. Unfortunately, Birds of Prey was a victim of the pandemic and didn't make as much as it could have. Margot would go on to play Harley one more time in The Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn. And thankfully, the booty shorts didn't reappear. And I do want to take a moment to talk about her character in that movie. She was hilarious and entertaining as usual. But when she was taken in and basically held hostage by the villain of the movie, the Suicide Squad mobilized to set her free. But before they could rescue her, she kicked all sorts of ass and got herself out. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like the sexualization of her character is unfair. It's like the powers that be felt she needed that in order to be a good character when she was popular for years without it.
Didn't your mom always tell you that's not the nice way to get a lady's attention?
Oh, and what are you gonna do? Spank us?
That's right, pigs! And here's the paddle!
Harley Quinn did not need to be drooled over to be a good character or popular. She just needed to be her overpowered, crazy, quirky self. I mean, not too quirky. We just don't need her to be sexy. But we also don't need her to be a manic pixie dream girl. Then there's the Harley Quinn HBO Max series. And yes, I still call it HBO Max. I will be respectful just as soon as they are. The character's look is modeled off of Margot Robbie's. I haven't watched the series, but I've seen that her outfit is a cross between Harley Quinn's traditional Harley Quinn outfit and Harley's crop top and booty shorts. From the images I've scanned, I've seen that she's worn the outfit throughout the entire series and it hasn't evolved into more covered clothing, which is sad because I hear that she and Poison Ivy have a romantic relationship in the series. So even though they are exploring more emotional depth with her character, they still won't cover her ass. Why did Harley Quinn have to be sexualized in the first place? She is a woman with a PhD and superpowers, and still she was just reduced to tits and ass. And yes, that sounds crass, but that's how I feel when they focus on how a woman looks as opposed to who she is. It takes me back to last week's Cyborg video when I talked about Joss Whedon cutting out Cyborg's storyline and replacing it with ass shots of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is part of the big three of DC Comics, and she was reduced to just being a piece of ass in a movie that was supposed to be huge for them. She is one of DC's most powerful superheroes and one of the most popular characters because of it. Still, she was reduced to just being eye candy, and I'm tired of it. It's not that hard to see women as humans with feelings. It reminds me of this line written for Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. In it, he plays a famous writer with OCD, and somehow Helen Hunt was his love interest. A fan asked his character, how does he write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
He responded, I think of a man and I take away reason and accountability. Said by a character who was a germaphobe, and instead of using liquid soap, would use bar soap and throw it away after one use because it was dirty.
Is you stupid? Is you dumb? Pick a side.
Who is without reason again? Like, come on, people. How would you feel if we put Superman and Batman in booty shorts? Like it was totally unnecessary? Well, it was totally unnecessary for Harley Quinn. As a matter of fact, it's never necessary. I especially find it significant that Harley Quinn started off as a psychologist who was manipulated by one of her own patients. He made her into his henchman. Her whole identity was wrapped up in him and who she was to him.
I remember when I would go driving like this with Mr. J. Mr. J, Mr. J,
Oh, change the record, Harl. You want to be some wacko's victim the rest of your life?
But once she separated herself from him, stood on her own as her own person again, no longer depended on him to define her identity, she is reduced to a sexual object, eye candy for the viewer, rather than a sympathetic character with thoughts and feelings, wants and needs of her own. She can only be seen as important according to what she can provide for a man, either his lapdog or his visual stimulation. The story of Harley Quinn is the story of the representation of women in media, period. It's 2025 and we still have a long way to go. No, seriously, tell me how you would feel if we put Superman and Batman in booty shorts. Let me know in the comments below. Come back Friday when I talk about the first Black superheroine in DC Comics. Do you like my shirt? Have the day you voted for. The link is in the description. If you like my videos, please support the channel by subscribing or donating through Ko-fi or Cashapp. Or you can purchase merch related to my fantasy novel or just buy my fantasy novel, The Fairy Princess. And let's continue the conversation in the Fairy Princess Facebook group. All links in the description. Thanks.